Before we begin talking about today's subject, I want each one of you who are assisting this video, who are watching this video, to think about what is one of the greatest difficulties that you are currently facing in life. For some of you, it may be an overwhelming illness. For others, it may be a family member who we want to bring back to the Catholic faith. For another, it may be the difficulty of sustaining a family. For another, it may be school exams that you have to prepare for. For another, it may be finding a job. And for each one, it's going to be a different scenario. So take a few seconds to think about what is the greatest challenge that you are currently facing. Have you thought about it? Now let me ask you another question. Have you asked God for help? Have you pulled out your rosary or pulled out your prayer book or knelt before a statue or cross, be it of Our Lady, be it of your favorite saint, be it to who you have devotion to, and asked for help? Will you help me in this difficulty? Because God is just waiting for us to ask for Him to help us. One time, our founder, Monsignor Jerome, he said that the angels are up in heaven and they're all like this, with their arms crossed, looking down on men, waiting to see if any of them are going to ask them for help. And asking them for help, he said that it's just like that they uncross their arms and they come down to earth to help us in what we asked for. Saint Rose of Lima. Saint Rose of Lima, Lima says it, she's from Peru. She's a saint recently after the discoveries were made in the Americas. She's one of the first saints of the Americas, and therefore she is actually one of the patron saints of the Americas. Saint Rose of Lima, when she was a child, when she was a baby, her face broke out with a bunch of red marks all over her face. When they examined closely, they saw that it wasn't a harmful rash or something ugly, but it was actually a lot of little roses that were all over her face. And that's why we call her today Saint Rose of Lima. Her original name, her birth name, was Isabel. She's from a Spanish family, a noble family. And there's one anecdote from her life that is going to help us to have confidence and to overcome life's challenges, be it what they may be. One day she was sitting and a child appeared to her. Who was this child? It was none other than the child Jesus, who would often appear to Saint Rose of Lima. But this time he asked her if she would like to play a game. He said, let's play a game, and whoever wins can ask the other whatever they want, and they'll have to give it to them. So she accepted. And what was the game? A very simple game. Whoever could throw the ball the highest won the game. So first, the child Jesus took the ball. He threw the ball up, went high, but Saint Rose of Lima thought that she could win the game. So she took her turn, she took the ball and threw it up, and it went much higher than the first one that the child Jesus had thrown. What did she ask the child Jesus? She said, what I want most is that you take away from me my migraines. That you take away from me my migraines. I cannot bear them anymore. The child Jesus said, okay, I accept. I will take away your migraines. But let's play one more time. And whoever wins, the same thing, can ask the other whatever they'd like, and it will have to be granted to them. So this time, Saint Rose of Lima went first, threw up the ball. Again, she threw it very high. But this time, the child Jesus wasn't going to be beat. He took the ball and threw it super high, much higher than Saint Rose of Lima. And you probably already know what the child Jesus said to Saint Rose of Lima. He said, I would like you to accept again your migraines. There was a principle behind why God was permitting St. Rose of Lima to suffer from terrible migraines. The child Jesus looked at her and he said, my Rose, these migraines that you have, they are an occasion of great graces for all of humanity. You don't know how much good you are doing to souls by suffering from these migraines. What was he referring to? The communion of saints. Because when we as Catholics, in the state of grace, when we suffer and we accept the sufferings that God gives us in life, that God or wants or that God permits, God uses our merits. Of course, we have our own personal merits that will earn us a place in heaven. But these merits, because of the communion of saints, are also spread to all of those who need them. So others receive graces, others receive graces of conversion. The famous example of Saint Monica, who suffered 40 years asking God, please convert my son Augustine, please convert my son Augustine, and she shed many tears and many sleepless nights. After 40 years, because of her suffering, her son, St. Augustine, receives the grace to convert. And because of St. Augustine and all of his preaching and all of his writings, how many people converted afterwards? Why? Because his mother, St. Monica, was faithful to the suffering that God asked of her. So the suffering that God gives us in life is actually one of God's greatest gifts. Professor Plínio Correia de Oliveira, who is one of the inspirers of this work of the Heralds of the Gospel, the name of our religious order, he said that one of the greatest gifts in life, and that most of the time we don't look at as being a gift, is suffering. Suffering is a great gift. It's a great gift because it purifies our soul, it prepares us for heaven, it gives us merits in heaven, but also because of the communion of saints. And St. Francis of Sales says that suffering is almost like the 8th commandment. Why? Because it is what buys grace, it is what earns grace for the communion of saints. Well, may St. Rose of Lima help us to bear our migraines, be it what they may be it studying for a test, be it a misunderstanding, be it sustaining our family. Who knows how much suffering there is in the world? It's not easy. And that's why we have the help of the saints. That's why we have God, who is constantly giving us His grace. And so let's confide in Him. Salve Maria.
If you like this video, press the like button and leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos.